Daddy-O, you know, is one of my homies, and I saw them get busy, and I was like, wow. You know, I seen the reaction from the crowd, and I was like, I could do that. You know what I mean? In my mind, I could do that. I like that. I like the reaction. I like what they was doing, crowd control. That's when the music hit me.
I'm Rakim, and this is 20 years later, Do or Die.
In the 80s, everybody had radios, and they walked the streets with the radios, and you hear it, and that's when it first connected to me. I'm like, wow, you know, the beats, the lyrics, and they talking that language that I can relate to.
I can remember when we used to have sessions, ciphers in the house after we finish recording the demo or whatever, and then we'll critically analyze who had the hottest verse, who verse was whack or could use a little tightening up, and we'll check in again, and this is how we kept our sport sharp.
I met him in Brooklyn, East New York, at the corner. I was getting ready to use the phone booth to call him, but before I got there, I remember him saying, yo, son, there's a phone booth at the corner. Don't use that phone booth. They be sniping dudes. So you got to go around the corner to somewhere. I guess it was a supermarket or something. Call me from there, and I'll meet you outside in 7 minutes. So we did that. And when I got in the car, the first rhyme I ever heard him say was,
get this, no one could get with this, so don't this, just witness this, live assist. But real, the skills are still, it's definitely ill, making MCs feel the fire like Stephanie Mills.
And he just kept going on, and I was like, yo, this kid's crazy. With Pete Rock and AZ, was a 5-year process before you even heard him on Life's a Bitch.
Park jams, boom boxes, and ciphers on the street corners defined the era. While developing his craft with my man Pete Rock, Yammy, a mutual friend from Queens, he brought Nas and AZ together because he knew the unique perspective on their life would entertain and elevate the music as well. You know what song I'm talking about. Life's a bitch and then you die. Here's what Nas recounts.
Life's a Bitch came about because I had my eyes on up-and-coming rap dudes, and that's what I wanted on my record. I didn't want anybody famous on it. He kept coming up in my head. I liked his style. And a friend of mine got locked up, and he was the one I wanted on my record. And I'm like, man, what do I do? And I remember A. So I called A to the studio. I just had him say rhymes for me. They were crazy, but none of them were just that right fit for the song. I was starting to think, man, this ain't gonna happen. Then he finally said this one rhyme, and it was like the skies just opened up.
Visualizing the realism of life in actuality. Who's the baddest? The person's status depends on salary, and my mentality is money orientated.
As soon as I heard, visualizing the realism of life in actuality. Who's the baddest? The person's status depends on salary. Oh my. Crazy. Crack. Nas had to go back and rewrite his verse. Facts.
You know, when we heard that record, he got that ill voice, and then you paying attention to what he's saying, it's like, you know he got some kind of knowledge himself. So automatically, for all of, you know, the street cats and, you know, the brothers that had knowledge of self was able to cheer him on and root for him and say, yo, you hear what he's saying?
We were beginners in the hood as 5%, but something must have got in us, cause all of us turned to sinners.
In regards to forecasting the future of an artist, after just hearing that one record, you already like, he's getting a record deal.
I'm invited to a record release party for a guy named Nas, who I knew very little about. And I'm there, and I hear this song, and I say, wow, that guy's really talented. And the guy next to me says, that's not Nas. I said, well, who did that line? And they said, that was a guy named AZ. So I said to the guy next to me, I want to meet AZ. Something about the verse got me. To me, I always wanted to run the best record company with artists that were authentic. He was a real artist. So I got very excited when I got to know him.
For him to get the best shot at having his own identity, he needed to be that rapper like Nas is at Sony. So we decided to go with EMI. They gave us the most promise with the money.
In the spring of 1995, we started recording Do or Die in Electric Lady Studio. It just had a nice energy in there. Once I went in that studio, I was like, this is where I'm doing this album at, right here. Electric Lady was my home. My whole direction, once I got the record deal, was I gotta represent now, you know? my calling is here, you know, the time is here, that window of opportunity is open. I have to, you know, represent for Brooklyn.